Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing great. So guys, in our today's tutorial we'll be learning how to cut this trendy baggy trouser outfit with an Ankara fabric. In this tutorial you'll be learning how to cut a perfect trouser pocket and also how to go about the drawstring at the waist part. So I made this outfit with a 2.5 yards of Ankara fabric by 45 length. But if you're buying, I will advise you go for 3 yards. Just buy 3 yards. So in case it's remaining, you can keep it. So guys, that is it about this outfit. Now let's quickly go to the cutting table. So this is my fabric. Can you see I've folded it? So what I have on fold here is about 16 inches. The hip of the person that owns this trouser is 41 inches. So the hip of the person you're making the trouser for will determine what you will have on fold. So because it's a baggy trouser, her hip divided by 4 is about 10.25 inches or thereabout. So I'm adding 3.5 inches to it. You get, plus the crotch curve. So that is it. So now the first measurement we'll be taking here is my hip line measurement. Can you see where my tape? I'm starting my measurement from 1 inch. Can you see where my tape is? So the hip line is 9 inches. So after that I will go down. I will take her crotch line. The hip divided by 4 is about 10.5 inches or thereabout. So I will add 1.5 to it. So I'm taking 12 inches for her crotch line. If you divide your hip into 4, whatever you have supposed to be your hip, supposed to be your crotch line. But because it's a baggy trouser, it's not supposed to be tight. I added 1.5 inches to it. So after that, can you see where I'm placing my tape? The same way I placed it before. I will go down and take her nail measurement, which is 21 inches. So the length of the trouser is 44 inches. So I will come to the center. I will take all that measurement I've taken before, the hip line, which is 9 inches, then the crotch line, which is 12 inches, then the nail line. Remember I said how to get your crotch line. You divide your hip into 4. So whatever you have supposed to be your crotch line. But because this one is a baggy trouser, I added 1.5 inches to 10.5 inches. That gives me 12 inches. So I will come to her hip line. I will now take her hip circumference divided by 4. So whatever it gives me, I added 3.5 inches to it because it's a baggy trouser. So I will take the same measurement, 10.5 plus 3.5. That's about 14 inches. I will go to her crotch line. I will take the same 14 inches. Can you see? Then I will come back to her waistline. I will take the same 14 inches. So I will now connect the line from her waistline to the crotch line. So the next thing I will do is to add 1.5 inches on the crotch line. So I will now create the crotch curve. Can you see? So make sure your crotch curve is not too high so that there won't be a bulge at the front part of the trouser. Can you see how my crotch curve is? So I will now come to her waistline. I will come in by 1/2 inch. So from that 1/2 inch, I will now connect it to the hip line. Can you see that? I connected it to the hip line and the crotch line. So that's the 1.5 I added for the crotch. So from that crotch, I will take it down to the length of the trouser. I will take it straight. to the length of the trouser. Can you see? I'm using my long ruler to create the line. I will draw it as a straight line. So I'm trying to make the line bolder so that you can see it very well. So on the down part of the trouser, remember this waist side, I came in by half an inch. So I did the same thing at the down part of the trouser, this part, the hip part, not the crotch line area. That's where my line is right now. That's where I am. So I'm trying to connect the line from the down part to the hip line area. That's the close to the crotch line. Can you see that? So this is what the front part of my trouser look like. So I'll go ahead and cut. Can you see the crotch? Can you see it? So this is the front part. So I'll go ahead and cut the back part of my trouser. Remember, my trouser is on my fabric, I cut it on fold. So the two front parts is here. So I will now pick one of it, this particular one that I have my measurement on. So I'll go ahead and fold. So now I will fold about 18 inches because I'm cutting the back part now. So the back part is somehow wider. Can you see my fabric? So I have to make sure that the back part is 1 inch longer, because at the waistline, the back part has to be 1 inch longer than the front part. Can you see what I'm doing? See? So I'm extending the line to the 1 inch. So from there, I will now connect it to the hip part. This trouser doesn't have any darts because it's a very free trouser. So I will now come to the front. Can you see the front crotch line? I will extend it because I have to add it. They're not supposed to be the same. So on that line, I came down by half an inch. Can you see? So I will now add additional 2 inches to where the front crotch stopped. So I will now connect it to the waist part of my trouser. Waist part of the front part. Can you see what I'm doing? So I connected it to the half an inch I came down from. So from there, I will now measure 2 inches. Just watch. So I'm taking 2 inches from where the front part stops. So when I get to where the nail is, the nail line, I reduce it to 1.5 inches. Can you see that? Can you see? So I connected it to the waistline. So that's just the difference between the front part and the back part, the crotch area and the waist area. Because this trouser has no darts. If it was a corporate trouser, I will add darts to the back part. Can you see? Can you see what it look like? So that's it, guys. So I'm done cutting the back parts and the front parts. Can you see? So the next thing I will do is to create my pocket. So I will now pick the two front parts. So can you see the two front parts is right there? So from the waist, I came down by 6.5 inches. So that's the length of my pocket. So on the waistline again, I have to take 2.5 inches in. Can you see? Remember, this is the hip side. So I will now connect it from that 2.5 inches to the 6.5 inches. So I will cut it out. Can you see that? So that's it. This is the two front parts. Please take notes. Can you see? So now this is my pocketing. So my pocket is 7.5 inches width. Can you see? 7.5 inches width and 13 inches long, because I want my pocket to be deep. So it's on fold. I'm cutting it on fold. So what I have here is 7 inches width and 13.5 inches long. So when you are cutting, that's why I say you should buy 3 yards. My own is 2.5. I should have cut this with the fabric, but if I do it that way, my material will not be enough. So after taking your measurement on fold, you will now open it. Then after opening, you pick your trouser. You see that place we cut 6.5 inches long and 2.5 inches in. So you now cut it out. I'm just showing you this with the lining. Just keep watching. You will see how I go about it because of my fabric. Can you see that? So this is how you'll be attaching it. See that place you cut out? Just watch. You now place it. You place it this way. Then you now stitch. After stitching, you now touch. See the one I'm going to use. So I have to divide it into two. Then use my fabric for one part, because you know the pocket will show. If I use everything as lining, if I use this lining throughout, the black will now show on my trouser. Can you see? So this is how you attach it. Can you see that? So the part I use my material, just watch. Just watch what I'm going to show you. After attaching it, I top stitch on the lining. Can you see that? So I will now iron. So after ironing, so I will now take that measurement 2.5 inches. Just watch. Now I will now fold it. Can you see? So making sure that where this part stop is that 2.5 inches. You already know how this place is in a trouser. Can you see? So that's why if I had used lining throughout, that means that black lining will be showing on this part now. So that's why I have to divide it into two. Then manage my fabric for one part. So when you are cutting your own, make sure you cut everything with your lining. So get 3 yards for yourself. If it was 3 yards, I won't do this management. So what I have is 2.5 yards. So you see, so now I have to pin it. Please, whatever you don't understand in this tutorial, always remember to let me know in the comment section. But it's very, very simple. Can you see? So I will now go and stitch it. Can you see the back parts? This is the back parts. This is the pocket. So I will trim it so it will relax well. You need to see this trouser when the owner is wearing it. It's very, very, very lovely. Please guys, if you are coming across my channel for the first time, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe for more and share this video with all your colleagues, with your friends, that is into fashion. Can you see? I will now stitch it close around the waist area. So this is what it look like. So I'll go ahead and do. Can you see our pocket is very deep and very balanced? There is no one single error. If you can do it like this, then you don't have a problem. That means you can sew trouser with any kind of material. So you now stitch it round. So I will do the same thing to the other parts. That is the second front part of my trouser. So after doing that, can you see? So I will now go ahead and stitch the crotch area. That is the center front. So I will stitch it. Don't stitch it to the end. Please make sure you don't stitch it to the end. Can you see where my finger is? So when you stitch, you stop there. So this is the back part. I've done the same thing to the back parts. So this is the center back. So now I have to go ahead and join the two legs. So this is the back part. I'll place it with the wrong part facing down and the right part facing up. So I will now pick the front part. I will now place it on top. Can you see, with the wrong side facing up? So I will now pick one leg of the back part and one leg of the front part from the crotch. I will now stitch it to the down part of my trouser. Can you see what I'm doing? See the two? So after doing that, I will now stitch the two sides together. Please, when you are done joining the crotch area and the side, remember to close the crotch. So that's it. So the next thing we'll do is to fix our band. So this is my band. My band is 4 inches width and the length is of my round waist. Remember, this waist is not your normal waist. Her normal waist is about 35, but because this is a baggy trouser, we have to use drawstring. So the round waist here is about 40 something inches. So this is the band. You already know how to do this, where you fold the first one 0.5, then the other one, it will now be the width of your band. So we now go ahead and attach the band to the trouser. So we attach, remember to attach your band from the right side of your trouser, or whether skirt or trouser. So I have to sew. I started my sewing from the center front. Can you see what I'm doing? So I still have extra for the band, so I have to cut it out. So just watch what I'm doing. This is the center front. Can you see the center front? So I sew from the center front to the other side. So when I get to the center front again, I will now join the two. Can you see what I'm doing? I will now join it. So after joining it, I will now close it. So that's it. So after doing that, can you see the place I close it? That is the center front from the band. So I will now close the band round. So after doing this, we'll now go and cut our drawstring casing. Remember, we are going to attach this to the waist, to that band. So I folded the two edge of the drawstring. So I will now fold it with 0.25. That is, I think that is 3/4 B. No, it's not 3/4. This is 1/4, which is 2.5, 0.25. So I folded it. Can you see? So I will now pick my trouser. From the center front, I gave back gap of 0.75. So I will now stitch. After stitching it round, I stitched the part I did not fold, so that I will use the folded part to close it. See, after stitching it round, I will now come back and close it. So I will stitch it round the band. So after that, this is my drawstring. You already know how to do this. Just pick maybe 1 inch, then you fold the 2 edge. So this is it. I will now use my setting pin. I think that's what this pin is called. I will now use it to insert my drawstring inside the drawstring casing. My drawstring casing, the width is about 1.5 inches. So guys, that is it about this beautiful trouser. Can you see how sweet this trouser is? This is superb. Like, this is just perfect. So if you follow this step, if you follow everything I've said in this tutorial, my sweetheart, you will never get it wrong. Thanks so very much, guys, for watching. See you in our next tutorial. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Then you go ahead and hem the down part, and that is it. Bye.